Hello, I want to talk about the creatures of the woods. Now, there are three types of creatures of the woods. There's the natural creatures that God created, and then there's the cryptids that are part man, part animal, and then there's the Nephilim, the descendants of the Nephilim. The natural creatures which God created, the deer, the antelope, where they play, the owls and things like that, wildcats. Those are creatures that God created. When they die, that's it. There's no spirit in them. Okay, so then you got these cryptids that are part man, part beast. You got the Bigfoot, which is part man, part gorilla. The female gorillas came from Africa, made it with the Italian soldiers, so die. 1,000 years later, we got the Bigfoot, die. Okay, so then you got these cryptids, half man, half beast. You got the salamander in the man, or it could be what they call a swamp thing. It could be a Komodo dragon in a man. I don't know. See, all this knowledge on how to make man mix the DNA with the animal comes from the evil angels and the fallen angels. Okay, that's where all that knowledge comes from. And then you got what they call a swamp thing. So maybe this whole business of the swamp things is not too far-fetched. I have heard of some people who have seen it. It looked like part salamander, part man. But either way, it's going to be a monster. Either way, okay? And then you got the dog man, part wolf. Now, what a lot of people are saying that it's part German Shepherd, part Chihuahua or something. I don't really know. But it looks to me like it's part wolf. Okay? I think a veterinarian in the 1940s or 50s took a syringe and impregnated she-wolves. I don't know how many she-wolves, and so now we got the dog man. But I really think it's part wolf and part man. Okay? Very dangerous creature. Very dangerous creature. And then, like I said, there's a lot of cryptids. Probably part bat. Part man too, the Mothman. And then there's these giant creatures all over. There's the Thunderbird, which is a giant creature. There's gigantic spiders that are about as big as a bear. So there's just a lot of extraordinarily giant creatures. And I don't know where they came from. Did God create them? I don't know. I don't really know. Okay, so but you got now, there are descendants of Nephilim that are still living, okay? And they look very human, okay? They in the deep woods of the North American continent. They in Russia. They all over, in Africa, South America. In particular, the Afghanistan, Syria. And they look human, okay? So, and then you got these cryptids who are like 10,000 years old, and they cannot die, and they get more hideous and hideous the older they live, the longer they live. But they cannot die, but they can die. If you blow them away with a magnum, they'll die. But there's no blood and guts, okay? But I don't know why. But this man said he saw a mountain breathe. Now, a mountain can't breathe. A mountain is not a person. A mountain can't breathe unless God tell it to breathe. So I don't really know what that man saw. But he did see some creatures come out of the mountain, and these creatures are in the natural. So if they're in the natural, they descended of something natural. Now, I don't know what is in hell. Okay, it's a whole lot of creatures in hell. God did not tell us exactly what he put in hell. All we know is that the lake of fire is down there, and there's molten rock. Okay, that's all we know. We don't know the worms. We don't know hardly anything about the creatures that God put in hell. If he did put creatures down there, we don't know. And I don't think we want to know either. Okay, so people saying that they saw these creatures come out of a mountain, come out of the abyss. I don't know. I don't know where the Bigfoot goes. When the Bigfoot dies, he could go to the planet of the apes. The planet of the apes could not be totally fiction. May not be totally fiction. When the Bigfoot dies, he could go to the planet of the apes, out in outer space somewhere. But they cannot ascend because God doesn't want them in their kingdom. There's no redemption plan for them. They cannot descend because they're not like sinful men. So I don't know where they go. I guess outer space. Or I don't know. They have to go somewhere because they're spirit. Because if they're part man, they have a spirit. Okay. But I don't know where they go. But there are still Nephilim alive and well living on the earth. They're in the Solomon Islands. They're in Antarctica. They're just in crevices of the rock. And like I said, there is a precedent of God letting cryptids doing them a favor. Okay. Now, according to Enoch, they went into God told them to send to the crags or the rocks and the caves and stuff. So they're still there. They could have asked God to do them a favor, saying, look, God, will you do us a favor? Don't kill us. Let's go into the crags of the rocks in the cave. We will not wreak havoc on mankind. We'll leave mankind alone. And so God could have granted them that. Okay? Because, look, they can kill us all because they're bigger than we are. But they're in the crags of the rock. And there's they're all over the world in the crags of the rock. There is a precedent of God doing favor for creatures. Okay? Jesus did a favor for the demons to come out of that man and go into the pigs. Because they asked Jesus, said, let's go into the pigs. So Jesus sent them into the pigs. So there is a precedent of the Lord doing favors for creatures. Okay, demons and, it's a precedent for it. But the Lord did kill some of the giants. Some of the giants, the skeletons have a hole in their head, nuclear blast. He had some he turned to stone. He did have a way of killing them. And I guess he let some of them go into the crags of the rocks. They said, look, we won't mess with mankind. Because, look, if they mess with us, they'll kill everybody on the planet. They said, Lord, we won't mess with mankind. Let's go into the crags of the rocks. Okay, so then maybe that's what they did. They're still there in Solomon Islands, in Antarctica, in North America, everywhere around the world. Have a nice day.